Hi ladies, this is Healthy Curls. Wanted to do a video just giving you all some tips on how to grow long natural hair. And this actually can apply for women that are relaxed or natural. The same techniques pretty much still apply. When I was growing up, I used to always want that long, beautiful hair that I would see on TV or see, my friends have. And my hair just was stuck at shoulder length. And later on, years later, as I joined the hair care forum, I realized, wow, everything I was doing was just basically all wrong. So I just wanted to give you all some tips if you feel like you're not retaining any length, if you've been stuck at the same length your whole life or for years, or maybe you had long hair as a child and you're not sure how to get your hair back to that state that it once was. So one helpful tip is lay off the heat. Heat can really wreak havoc on your hair. A lot of times we just, we're flat ironing or we're curling our hair or blowing it out and not really realizing the damage that we're causing. Now, I'm not saying to never use heat, but if you are going to use heat, I would say use it sparingly. Know what amount of heat is healthy for your hair, and always use a heat protectant. I don't use heat that much on my hair at all anymore. I've only used it once this year back in January, and I probably won't use it the rest of the year. So if you are going to use heat, use it in moderation. Make sure that you always use a heat protectant and flat iron if you do flat iron your hair, make sure that you flat iron your hair on clean hair. You never want to do it on dirty hair. That's really going to cause it to break. It's going to cause it to, get split in. So make sure that you are protecting your hair if you are choosing to use heat. Also, our ends, they're the oldest part of our hair, so this is the most delicate. So we want to make sure we're moisturizing our ends and we're sealing our ends, which means just to basically lock in the moisture. And we want to do that with an oil or a butter. You can use shea butter, or you can use oils like coconut oil or jojoba oil, castor oil, olive oil. There's so many different awesome oils out there that you can use to lock in the moisture. Because our hair, it tends to be drier than other races, and the moisture, our hair has to constantly have moisture added to it. And speaking of moisture, you want to make sure you're moisturizing your hair, I would say daily, until you really learn how much moisture your hair needs. You want to pretty much make sure you're moisturizing it daily, or at least every other day. But I would say, if you're just starting out with your healthy hair care routine, do it daily. Deep condition is really good for your hair. It adds that moisture and that shine that your hair really needs. I would say do it, maybe at least once a week. When I first started my healthy hair journey, I would do it probably twice a week. Some naturals may not deep condition that much at all, but especially if you do have color on your hair, I would say deep condition on a regular basis. I would also say another reason why a lot of us as black women have not retained length is because of getting braids and weaves installed incorrectly or too tight. The thread from the sew-in could cut your hair if it's pulled too tight. You can lose your edges, or your edges could thin if you are not making sure that maybe some of the hair is left out, even with braids, and sometimes you see those little white bumps. It's too tight. No matter what you spent on the getting your hair done, you need to take it out or get it loosened, because like I said, you could end up with having thin edges, or actually losing your hair around your hairline. So that's another reason that our hair can break, is because of getting those hairstyles done too tight. Speaking of those hairstyles, now on the flip side, they could work as awesome protective styles, which is just protecting your hair from the elements, protecting your hair from manipulation, from heat, all kind of factors that could prevent you from retaining length. Another thing I wanted to mention was that, sometimes us as women, we may go to the salon or get our hair done, but some stylists can be a little scissor happy and cutting off too much length, and it seems like our hair is never growing. If it grows at an average of a ½ inch a month, but then the stylist is cutting that ½ inch, if you go, to get your hair done every 4 or 6 weeks, you're never going to see that growth that you actually could have retained because you're cutting too much. So I would say cut and trim as needed. You can dust your ends versus deep trims every, 4 and 6 and 8 weeks. You'll never see that length retention. And then also, I wanted to make sure to let you all know of sleeping with a silk scarf or a satin scarf or bonnet. that protects your hair at night. If you don't like sleeping with anything on your head, then I would suggest at least getting a satin pillowcase, because the satin pillowcase it will work just the same as sleeping with a satin scarf or bonnet, but you don't have anything actually on your head. Just make sure not to sleep with your hair loose, because all the constant rolling around could, cause your hair to tangle. So just make sure, if you do choose to sleep with a satin pillowcase instead, twist your hair up or braid your hair up and just pin it up. That way you're not just constantly rolling, back and forth and causing your hair to tangle. So those are just some tips that I wanted to make sure that I pass on to you ladies. Oh, one other thing, don't want to forget, combing and brushing. If you comb and brush too excessively or too forcefully, it could cause your hair to break as well. So don't just rip through your hair. Definitely don't comb with a small comb. Make sure they're a big wide tooth comb, and detangle your hair in the shower. Or with something, moisturizer of some sort, or your hair wet, because trying to detangle natural hair dry is just a disaster waiting to happen. You're not going to probably get that comb through there, and you could definitely cause your hair to break. So either in the shower or with your hair already wet, or at least damp, to get that comb through with ease, and do it with conditioner or detangler, because that will help the comb glide through a lot easier. So those are just some tips I wanted to share with you ladies today, and if you have any questions, just feel free to email me or reach out to me on my Facebook or my blog. Thanks. See you ladies soon. Bye.